Tonight on CTV News, we take a look at the start of Native American Heritage Month at CSU.
Then we discuss all of the political figures visiting Fort Collins and feature a local nonprofit store that focuses on helping women in developing nations.
All this and more on CTV News starting now.
Good evening, CSU and Fort Collins. Thanks for tuning in to CTV News. I'm Bryn Carmen.
And I'm Alexandria Clow.
Deputies from the Larimer County Sheriff's Office found a body of a teenage boy in Sound Berthoud High School early this morning. The LSCO arrived at the school after the teenage boy's parents called, worried about his safety, and suggested that he may have gone to the high school. The deputies found a door open and the body of a male teenager inside. The school tweeted early this morning that classes were canceled for the day and all entrances to the school were blocked off. The cause and manner of the death and identity of the male have not yet been released. There are no known threats to the school, students, or staff. Anyone with any information about Thursday's death can call the Larimer County Sheriff's Office at 970-416-1985.
The 33rd Annual American Indian Science and Engineering Society Powwow started on Friday with a bang. The powwow kicks off the Native American Heritage Month and is filled with song, dance, and food. The powwow is a great way for people to learn about the Native American culture. I asked one of the dancers why he dances.
Sharing my culture with everybody. I dance for those who can't dance, those who want to dance, and those who are gone before us. Dance for them, dance for the future generations, and it just makes me feel really good.
The whole purpose of this event is to bring awareness to what the Native American culture is.
It's just trying to share our culture. It's very unique, so it's not really often talked about or even seen. It's kind of go out and experience, so it's just good to see that it's kind of being shared, it's being accepted everywhere, because we like to share it through song, dance, crafts, and especially food. Everybody likes foods.
While people did enjoy watching the different dances, the fry bread was a huge hit at the powwow. Even the dancers had to have some.
Fry bread, so it's kind of like almost a more cultural thing, so it's kind of grown up with everybody. Of course, there's different various styles because it's food, and it's almost like a native style funnel cake or sopapilla, as like Hispanics have, but then it's more, the way it's different, it tastes different, and we usually make it a little bit larger.
The powwow was only the beginning of Native American Heritage Month. For more information about events this month, go to nacc.colostate.edu/calendar.
With the general election only 5 days away, visits from political figures and campaigning is becoming more frequent around Fort Collins. Democratic U.S. Senator for Colorado Michael Bennet was campaigning on the CSU campus today. Bennet, who was first elected for the U.S. Senate in 2010, is confident about his chances against Republican rival Darrell Glenn. He says he still thinks that he isn't taking anything for granted. Right now, all he's focusing on is getting people to vote.
There is not in the United States of America a wider range or a wider gap between the two policy positions of my record and my opponent's view of what he wants to do in the Senate. And I hope people learn about what that is, and I hope they'll vote accordingly. And I hope, even if you're not going to vote for me, that you'll vote, because we should.
Tomorrow, Friday, November 4th, the Colorado Republican U.S. Senate nominee Darrell Glenn will be on the CSU Plaza at 11:45 in the morning to campaign. Additionally, past U.S. President Bill Clinton will be in Fort Collins from 4 to 6 in the evening at the New Belgium Brewery to campaign for presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. You can RSVP for the rally online at the Clinton's website. Finally, Libertarian Party presidential candidate Gary Johnson will be back in Colorado Sunday, November 6th, with doors opening at 2 and the event starting at 3 in the afternoon at the Colorado Christian University. RSVPs are encouraged but not required.
With election season, obviously comes voting, and that means ballots. In certain states across the country, taking a selfie or picture with your ballot is illegal. Colorado currently does not allow voters to take pictures with their ballots. However, this could change in the near future. This coming Wednesday, November 9th, a Denver federal judge is scheduled to hear arguments against Colorado's misdemeanor crime of disseminating a completed ballot. The law is not strictly enforced, however, taking a picture of your ballot can potentially lead to fines or jail time.
I understand the enthusiasm, completely get it, I love that, but just don't take a picture of your voted ballot. Take a picture of the outside of it, that's fine, but not the content and the way you voted.
In the Old Town Square lies a 16-year-old free trade store that is home to some of the most beautiful and unique artisans Fort Collins has ever seen. The store manager has called 10,000 Villages home since it opened and loves her job more than anyone I've ever met.
10,000 Villages in Old Town Fort Collins is run by Wendy Poppin, a woman passionate about helping women in developing nations.
I love it for a million reasons. I mean, I really believe in fair trade. I believe that I've been to a lot of developing countries in my life, and I see the poverty and I see what's going on. I see beautiful things being made and these people basically giving it away. I'm a feminist, and most of the artisans are women, and I think that's awesome. A lot of the women don't have much clout in their communities, and now that they're making these things and making money, they all of a sudden are revered and respected and not getting beaten by their husbands anymore.
This nonprofit fair trade company represents about 35 countries, and the corporate office that buys and communicates with artisans is based in Pennsylvania.
And the way we do it is we look at the whole world and find the poorest countries, and then we divide our budget accordingly to who needs help the most that year.
In addition to connecting with crafters all around the world, the company must also follow severe guidelines when purchasing products and bringing items into North America.
We're also set to very high standards from the Fair Trade Federation of making sure that the artisan who made these things really is making the money that you're spending on something.
After this process, the next step for Poppin is to order items the corporate office has purchased. She has a keen eye for what the community wants and has many bestsellers.
It's our good luck pig. So it's a little tiny pig from Chile made from the indigenous dirt there. And we're the only store that has it as a #1 seller.
Poppin has a heart of gold, love for the world, and impactful connection with people. It is no surprise she has been the store manager since 10,000 Villages opened 16 years ago in Old Town. The store's vision and purpose mirror her own.
I've always had the feeling that in my life I always wanted to have jobs that made the world better.
Poppin says if you can't go and visit some of the faraway places on your bucket list, to come into the store and shop through some of the crafts and artwork you may find abroad. She says shopping at 10,000 Villages can be a trip in itself.
On Saturday, November 5th, the 63rd Annual World Unity Fair will take place on the CSU campus. The event, which is hosted by the Office of International Programs, brings different groups from all across CSU and Fort Collins together to celebrate the diverse cultures within the community. The Unity Fair will include different traditions, tastes, music, and dance from around the world, as well as crafts, games, informational booths, and an international bazaar. The fair is free and will start at 3 in the afternoon and continue until 9 at night in the Laurie Student Center ballrooms and theater.
Coming up next, our very own Alec Erickson will have his full weather forecast.
Then Aislinn Carrillo will give us an update in the world of Ram sports.